This is Nick with Build Brothers Roofing and Solar. Started my digital inspection at 6969 Tower Street out here in La Mesa. We're on top of an architectural asphalt shingle roof. We have two different roofs over here, but both are the torch-down material. The shingle roof is a newer material, does not look to be very old at all. I would say this material was more than likely installed within the last 5 years or so. Although I don't understand why when they installed it that they didn't swap out these whirlybirds. So we can see that these whirlybirds aren't really spinning anymore. This acts as the exhaust ventilation for the roof. You'll notice that it's really loud. The bearings have rusted out on it. So these should be replaced with O'Hagan exhaust vents. O'Hagan vents are a lot easier waterproof. Whirlybirds are always really susceptible to leaks, especially when they're this old. So I am going to recommend that portion of the roof, but the material itself is still in, like I said, it's still in good shape. We've got proper seam staggering when it comes to the install, the way that this roof was installed. So those are all good signs. Now, I am really concerned with this row of solar panels on this flat roof. So they went ahead and used a shingle product all the way down. Now, if they went ahead and did that, then what they would have to have done is used a titanium peel and stick underlayment underneath it, which they did not. Now, there's a bunch of issues going on with this flat roof also. So when it comes to my suggested repair, that will also solve this portion here. So here we have the flat roof. Again, this is the main area of concern. This material was just not installed properly whatsoever. Not enough heat was used when installing this material. There is no bleed out. You can see all the mastic that was used to reseal these seams, and that is not doing the trick. You'll notice that everything is just super loose now. Everything is coming apart. I mean, this is literally not doing anything at this point. So it does not matter how new roofing material is. If it wasn't installed properly, then we will have leaks. And we can see how loose everything is starting to get along the seams. Again, everything is just coming apart at this time. Same thing over here with this section. You'll notice all the ponding that we have right here. That is where water just sits. And when you have a roof that is not installed properly, one that is already starting to get really loose along the edges, once the adhesiveness starts to go along this drip edge, again, you can see how rusted out all that is. That's a telltale sign that the product needs to be replaced, number one, and number two, that it was not installed properly. You also notice how all these seams are loosening up over here as well. So again, if my finger can get underneath it, obviously water can get underneath it as well. So my suggested repair for this property is we need to redo this entire flat section. Now that will also include this portion up to right here. So we're gonna remove these solar panels. We'll have to obviously reinstall them when we go ahead and redo this roof. But what I wanna do is turn this entire section into one TPO roof. So TPO is more of a commercial based product. It's extremely water resistant, which is what we love, obviously. It turns the entire roof plane into one singular membrane, but it also reflects a lot of heat, a lot of sunlight off of the property. So this area is gonna stay nice and cool in comparison to what it is today. But we are gonna go ahead and turn this into one singular membrane with that TPO product. We'll take that underneath these existing shingles. That way it'll seamlessly be installed right through the rest of the, or right along with the rest of the roof, and then we'll come back and then reinstall these solar panels. But this is a major concern for the property. There's going to be a ton of water that's going to be getting into this section, and there's also going to be a ton of water that's getting in this section. So when you have shingles installed on a flat roof, remember, shingles are not meant for water to be sitting on it. They are meant for water to flow freely off the roof. And when you have a flat roof like this, that water just sits and then it ends up getting into the seams. You can see how everything's already starting to loosen up. You can see all the water damage underneath it. And so that's just naturally gonna get into the roof, the home itself, and that's not what we want. So we'll redo this section. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 solar panels that are gonna need to be removed and reinstalled. Install TPO over this section, and then the homeowner will have to deal with this for the foreseeable future. Other than that, all the sealant around the penetration should be redone. When we come out to do the roof work, we'll include a tune-up as well. And then I am going to recommend that we go ahead and replace these whirlybirds, and we'll just swap these out with O'Hagan exhaust vents. That's it for my inspection.